Türkiye sisteminin tabutuna çakılmış son
sees that it is his natural right to intervene domestic politics of Gulf countries, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, or all other Muslim countries. Qatar has been the founder of Erdogan regime, and whenever Turkish economy is shaking, and Qatar always financed. And we don't know how many companies were sold to Qatari government, including digital major media platforms. We don't know because those deals were kept in secret, but Qataris' monies are mainly in Turkey, and they're buying many companies in Turkey. And I would say if there is a sponsoring terrorism, Qatar is the financier of this, and the Turkish intelligence agencies is the major operative of this. That is why they found themselves as co-conspirators of these crimes that is committed in Syria, and that is why they needed to support each other, overemphasize neo-Ottomanism, return of Ottomans. And that is why, for instance, Turkish university is opening branches in Syria. Syria is an independent country, right? And from whom he got permission to open branches of northern Syria where Turkish military is controlling. I supported Erdogan since the beginning of this party until 2011. And when he secured 50% of the vote, we see the real face of Erdogan. And he thought that the military is no longer an obstacle before him, and the European Union was just a stone for him to pass that stage. And we saw the real face of Erdogan and Islamist agenda, his Islamist agenda. And for instance, he openly supported Al-Nusra Front and at some degree ISIS against Assad regime, which I don't approve, by the way. Elections are essential for Erdogan's survival. Whenever he feels like his regime is in danger, he calls an early election. There are two stages of manipulation. One is pre-election stage. The other is election night manipulations. We need to focus on these two. In the pre-election stage, first of all, everything starts with the media. Erdogan has been controlling 95% of the media. And lastly, the last so-called independent media was transferred to a pro-Erdogan businessman 3 months ago, right before the election. Judges are in jail and journalists are in jail. Lastly, when the journalists are questioning the integrity of election process, they're directly put in jail. Erdogan won this election months and year before the election started. How does he do it? He made sure that the judges who are going to serve in the election boards are pro-AKP judges, okay? And those who are able to challenge or willing to challenge are directly sent behind bars. And journalists are behind bars, and journalists who are now in service, they're doing so-called journalistic work, of course under heavy pressure, and they do at least self-censorship. So it's not there. So this is a regime that looks and appears democratic, but in reality, when you dig it down, that is not an election, but an election manipulation. Don't forget, we are going to election under emergency rule. Leaders of the Kurdish party are in jail, and 12 parliamentarians are in jail. The officials who are working for the Kurds and the E party, good party that Erdogan sees as the target, their members are being put in jail because with the terrorism claim, For the AE party, they call the FETÖ terror organization, which Erdogan invented for his political gain. And for the Kurds, they claim that they are the PKK terrorists, and they are being put behind jails because he sees these two parties are critical for his election. No one from the major opposition party, because major opposition party is leftist, and he knows that leftists will not be able to win in Turkey. If they see that in the critical areas where the opposition, especially the Kurdish oppositions, are dominating, if they see electrical cuts on that night, if they cut off the electrics, and if they see very internet cuts or slowing down internet accesses so slow, so that people are not able to communicate through social media, through WhatsApp and others. If they see that the Twitter is gone and WhatsApp is simply collapsed, and it is very highly likely that Erdogan is manipulating the elections. Let me give you an example. This is an old Turkish government trick. Another way of manipulation is using state-run news agency. Anatolia agency is the only source that is doing the reporting from the field. What they do is a tactic, and again, I ask your readers and viewers to watch closely. And usually they open the numbers very high in favor of the AKP government. Let's say Erdogan is winning 60%, okay, around when the polling stations are closed. When the opposition people saw that Erdogan is winning 60%, what do? Well, they got demoralized and they quit monitoring the ballot counts. And they go their home, they're tired, and they said he won again. And what happened with this manipulation, the AKP supporters and AKP officials change or are able to change the result. This time, I would want to closely watch Russian influence. Because the strategic reason, Russia wanted to soar Turkey's relations with the West, especially wanted to distance Turkey. And in history, Turkish military knows how to stage a coup, and coup never started at 9 p.m. where everyone was on the street. Anyway, after the coup attempt, Russia gained a lot in Turkey. It is likely that Russian hackers would hack and manipulate the system, Turkish election network on that night. I would not be surprised if Russia intervened in favor of Erdogan. So when we put all these possibilities one after another, we see that Erdogan secured the election months before the election date. However, I know Erdogan very much, and just in case he will not give up, and he will work hard on election nights to make sure there is no mistakes are made. About future of Turkey, I don't think Erdogan will be able to run this country 4 more years for 2 reasons. First, economy is really going down. Unless he find money from either Gulf countries or IMF, and it is very difficult for him to save this country's economy. This is one indicator. Other is when I watch Erdogan's mental ability, I don't see Erdogan is as strong as he used to be. Mentally, he's making a lot of mistakes. And he's making mistakes that as if he's out of touch, as if he's not from this world.
عينك على العالم.